Miller starred alongside Reynolds as the character of Weasel in the first Deadpool film, and reprised his role again in 2018 for the sequel. His character didn't appear in the latest installment, Deadpool and Wolverine, but Miller spoke out about his experience working with Reynolds during an appearance on The Help. With Natalie Cuomo podcast, which was released earlier this year during the conversation, Miller spoke about how he landed bigger roles like that in Deadpool, saying, "That's an example of something that was so fun for so long, and then suddenly it got not fun." And I think that always has to do with when something becomes super successful like it did. People get really famous, and then things get really weird. And that's what happened from Deadpool 1 to Deadpool 2. Miller then went on to talk about Reynolds more specifically, saying, "You first had Ryan Reynolds, who everybody knew who he was, but he had a lot of movies that were failures or just didn't do that well. Deadpool 1 was a real long shot for him, and it took him 10 years to get that movie made, and then he did it, and it was the highest grossing R-rated film of all time or something, and so Deadpool 2, he was a different person," Miller continued. A guy that's become that famous in a movie that is that funny, it just kind of changes people. Miller then moved on to talk about whether the movies had changed him personally, but many people found themselves stuck on the comments he'd made about Reynolds. People were quick to respond to Miller's thoughts online, with many pointing out that his former co-star was far from a nobody before the Deadpool franchise took off. Ryan Reynolds had been in a bunch of movies prior to Deadpool, many of them successful, said one commenter on Twitter before recalling Reynolds' starring role in a cult classic sitcom. He also starred in Two Guys, a Girl, and A Pizza Place. Others noted several popular Reynolds projects that came out before becoming a Marvel mainstay, including National Lampoon's Van Wilder in 2002, The Proposal in Adventureland in 2009, as well as the animated hits The Croods and Turbo in 2013.